Chapter 691, Meeting. There's no need for you to tell me. I've more or less confirmed it moments ago. Upon hearing Anderson Hood, Klein wore a calm expression as he mumbled inwardly. Back when he encountered Rionette Tynker in the spirit world, where he saw her massive true form and Gothic-styled castle, Klein already believed that she wasn't someone to be messed with. And with Miss Messenger almost killing the strongest hunter with such ease, it made him believe without a doubt that she was a demigod, a sequence 4 at the very least. A demigod is willing to help me deliver letters for a gold coin per trip. It's obvious that things aren't that simple. Miss Messenger must have her motives. Of course, I can't disregard how I'm always encountering all sorts of strange matters. It might have piqued her interest, and she doesn't mind being a messenger since she happens to be free. Similar situations include Arods's fawning and Snake of Mercury, Will Ossipton's friendliness. Regardless, I should be wary and not fully trust her. Before having a chance to discuss similar matters, I shouldn't consider blowing the harmonica whenever I encounter danger. Who knows if Miss Messenger will just directly rip me to shreds? Klein instantly had many thoughts go through his mind while he continued wearing a stoic expression. Faced with the alarmed Anderson, all he did was slightly nod his head. It's none of your business. This guy is really mysterious. A spirit world creature at the demigod level is his messenger. Besides, he casually knows a demigod that's good at improving a person's luck. It's no wonder he's so calm and composed after offending the King of Immortality. It's no wonder the King of Immortality didn't dare to seek revenge or even appear. Anderson suddenly came to a realization, as he couldn't help but carefully size up J.M. and Sparrow. Oh, Klein emotionlessly swept his gaze at the strongest hunter. Anderson hurriedly retracted his gaze as he chuckled dryly. I realize that you're very suitable to being the main lead of a figure painting, the kind that has a dark, gloomy background. This really accentuates your bearing. How about it? Do you want to consider it? I can help you draw a portrait. Believe me, I'm a master at this. Klein couldn't be bothered to listen to his nonsense. He lifted his golden pocket watch and opened it. Return to your room. I'll come for you in 5 minutes. All right, Anderson replied with a beaming smile. After the strongest hunter left, Klein took out Azic's copper whistle and Will Ossipton's paper crane before entering the bathroom where he set up a ritual. After placing Vice Admiral Iceberg Edwina's pearl earring above the gray fog, Klein sat at the end of the long bronze table. There, he conjured a pen and paper and wrote a simple divination statement: Edwina Edwards's location. Holding the paper and earring, Klein leaned back into the chair and recited the divination statement as he entered a dream with cogitation. First, a gray world occupied his vision. Following that, plains blanketed in ice and snow were reflected in his eyes. The howling snowstorm enveloped everything as the area was covered with thick fog. It didn't appear like a real frontier. Klein quickly saw Edwina's figure. Her long brown was tied up simply at the back as the rest of it fluttered wildly in the snowstorm. Dressed in dark-colored trousers and a white waist-fitting shirt with complicated flowery patterns along the collar and sleeves, she gave off the feeling as though she was frail in such an environment. Edwina's feet, which were clad in leather boots, kept moving across the snow, leaving behind a series of clear footprints, but they were quickly wiped away by the violent snowstorm. The screen shattered in turn as Klein opened his eyes. He realized that he couldn't interpret Vice Admiral Iceberg's actual location from his divination's revelation. The poles, Faceax plains of Evernight, there's no way to confirm. Apart from the snowstorm, there aren't any features. Klein sat up and put down the pearl earring and the paper with the divination statement. After contemplating for a few seconds, he confirmed another matter. Edwina Edwards had really vanished. She wasn't in the Golden Dream, but it could also eliminate the possibility that it was a trap. Klein cautiously performed some divination on this matter and received the result that there weren't any traps on the Golden Dream. After some thought, he left the mysterious space above the gray fog and via a series of procedures, brought the pearl earring back to the real world. Recalling the map of the waters around Oravi Island and the present location of the Golden Dream, Klein selected an uninhabited island that fishermen used to seek shelter from storms. In the letter, he got Danitz and company to steer their ship to somewhere not too far from there. After folding the letter, he blew his harmonica and once again saw Miss Messenger holding up the 4 heads. While handing over the reply letter, Klein coughed slightly and said, "Can you confirm Danitz's location?" One of the heads in Rionette Tinker's hand nodded before the rest spoke. "Yes, as long as he's not beyond rain." Seeing that Miss Messenger remained floating there without any signs of leaving, he said with his eyes looking to the side, "The gold coin will be paid by Danitz." "All right," Rionette Tinker's figure quickly phased away. "Phew." Klein exhaled. After some precise preparations and dealing with the scene, he carried his suitcase which he had finished packing and walked out of the room. He then knocked on Anderson Hood's door. "We'll go somewhere else first before heading to Bayam," he calmly told the strongest hunter of his decision. "You can choose to wait for me in Bayam or follow me." Anderson gave a cheeky smile and said, "I can feel my adventurer's blood burning in me. I'm very curious as to what matter that messenger has brought. I thought I had no means of knowing better, but to my surprise, you actually invited me." "I didn't, I'm only giving you 2 choices." Klein coldly turned around and walked to the staircase. Anderson hurriedly carried his newly bought suitcase and followed behind. Out of the hotel, Klein took a carriage to leave the port city. Then, he walked to the periphery of an uninhabited cliff on Mount St. Draco. Looking at the waves crashing into the cliff below, Anderson looked around in surprise. "This is our destination." Klein ignored his question. He took out a charm made of tin and softly chanted the incantation, "Storm." He infused his spirituality and split the charm into 2, half of it for himself, while the other half was used to augment Anderson. The remaining one was thrown down the cliff. Underwater breathing, deep-sea membrane. Anderson identified the additional supernatural effects applied to him in surprise. At that moment, there was a loud splash beneath the cliff. A massive creature that resembled a whale surfaced from the sea. It was entirely dark blue in color. Its mouth was open, revealing its white teeth and blood-colored interior. Klein walked to the edge of the cliff and jumped straight down. With the charm's powers, he gently landed in the undersea behemoth's mouth. Anderson watched blankly before he jumped down in excitement, landing beside Klein. The massive undersea creature closed its mouth, turning the interior pitch black. Then, it submerged itself and began swimming for its designated destination. Inside its mouth, Klein's eyes produced a flash of lightning as he saw through the darkness. He found a tooth to lean against as he casually sat down. Due to the protection from deep-sea membrane, he wasn't afraid that his clothes would be dirtied. "Man, this is quite fascinating." Anderson surveyed the area and asked curiously, "How did you come up with this? How are you doing this?" "Of course it's by praying to myself, then using the sea god scepter to pull a suitable undersea creature from nearby." Klein didn't reply Anderson's question. He half closed his eyes as though he was resting. "It's just a little stuffy." Anderson took out a cigar case and matchstick from his pocket. "Can I smoke in here?" "Ask it." Klein didn't open his eyes. Anderson chuckled dryly before putting away the cigar and matchstick. "I don't think it will like the smell of tobacco." In the dark sea, this massive creature swam quickly, efficiently drawing out the oxygen in the water via the use of its special organs from time to time. After an unknown period of time, it surfaced in front of an uninhabited island. After using the charm's power to go ashore, Klein took off his hat and bowed at the undersea creature. "You're very polite," Anderson said in amusement when he saw the scene. "I've always been very polite, even if I'm facing prey." Klein shot a glance at him as though he was including him. Anderson chuckled dryly as he pointed to the other side of the island. "There's a ship there." "Oh, it's the Golden Dream." At that moment in time, Klein had also seen the sailboat that had been scrubbed clean. On the ship spanning dozens of meters, a lustrous main cannon that didn't belong there was swirling with stacked symbols. He immediately went over with his suitcase, and before long, he arrived where the Golden Dream was anchored. Then, he saw Danitz jump down from the deck as he ran across the water. Just as Danitz arrived before Jam and Sparrow, deliberating on what to say, he suddenly saw a familiar figure. Anderson Hood, He pointed at the strongest hunter as he yelled. Anderson immediately roared with laughter. You didn't expect me, right? Although he didn't know why he would encounter the Golden Dream, this didn't stop him from having the idea of occupying the ship by force. You know each other. Klein indifferently swept his gaze towards Danitz. Danitz instinctively shuddered as he forced a smile. This guy isn't a good egg. In the Fog Sea, he's often pursued by a bunch of pirates, but in the end, all of those pirates would end up as bounty rewards. You might not be aware, but he started off in the Church of the God of Knowledge and Wisdom. Later, he was banished after failing his exams repeatedly. I heard all of this from Captain. They were former classmates. He gave Anderson a look of contempt, mocking his low intelligence. As for Flowery Bowtie Jodson and company on the ship, all of them showed similar expressions. Anderson's gaze slowly swept across their faces before tusking. That's not the main point. The main point is that I once pulled at your captain's hair. The scene instantly turned extremely silent as Danitz couldn't stop his expression from twisting.